Yes. Hello, welcome. Welcome to this experiment called life. And why do I call it an experiment? Because we don't really know how things will turn out. So, before we dive into this, just see if you can take care of your body. What does your body need right now to feel really comfortable, luxurious, taken care of? What does your body need right now? Take that and give it to your body. It might mean centering with a couple of breaths. And sighing out the out breath. It might be rolling your shoulders, your neck, taking care to see how attuned you are to this here, to this now. So, in some ways, these meditations are an experiment. I don't know what will be said, what this character called Laura will say. I don't know what the purpose of these meditations are. And there is a kind of freedom with that. When we know that we don't know, there might be more openness and willingness to let things be as they are. So welcome to this experiment. Where you are both the experimenter and a participant in the experiment. And it's here, it's now, it's unfolding every moment, every second, every now of our lives. And if we're a good scientist, we're perpetually gathering data, perpetually present to this experience that unfolds itself in every moment. And as the scientist of your own life, you might have some hypotheses about what this is, what this experiment is, what you're hoping to achieve. What do you want as an outcome of this here and now? Knowing full well that there's a very high probability that it won't turn out the way you want, the way you wished, the way you hoped. Hmm. But what are you in this for? Are you in this for some kind of final outcome, some kind of imaginary future destination? Or are you genuinely curious and fascinated and attuned to each and every unfolding without really being too bothered by what the outcome looks like, what the finish line might be like? One way leads to a lot of striving, controlling, efforting, manufacturing, manipulating, and the other just is presence. Oh, this is what this character called Laura is doing in this moment. Ah, look at that. And there's a kind of freedom. There's an openness. Freshness. In not knowing what this actually is, what this thing called life is. No one really hands us a manual of our life. No one gives us the plot line of what we're meant to be. There's no magic formula. For some kind of success, whatever that looks like to you. So, yes, given that there's no manual, there's no formula, there's no plot line, this is turning out to be an unusual experiment. This alchemy of your life. And so maybe this is a good opportunity to reflect of what your internal measures of success are. How do you know that you've succeeded at this experiment? Is it when you've achieved a certain weight, body shape, your bank balance, relationships, partners, your job, house, car? About how present you are. What about how able you are to love yourself, no matter what your bank balance is, no matter what is appearing in the external world. Can you be present to it? Can you be naked to your own experience? Can you approach this experiment with a beginner's mind? Oh, I don't know what's going to happen to me, so whatever happens to me, here I am. So yes, notice what your relationship with not knowing is. You may find there's multiple parts here. Some parts are anxious. Some parts want to control what happens. Some parts feel actually quite pleased that you don't have to know what's coming. There may be some freedom. And how do you think you would have felt if at the age of 16 someone handed you a book, and this book explained in great detail what would happen to you for the rest of your life. Where you'd go to college, where you'd go to university, where you'd work, who you'd marry, how many kids you'd have, how you'd die, so that you kind of had the outcome. You knew what the outcome would be. What then? How would that be? Would that be a relief? Would you sign up for your experiment? Would you sign up for it? Would you still be a willing participant in the alchemy of your own life? Or would you try to do everything you could in your power to somehow affect the outcome? To prove them wrong? Could not knowing be a kind of a blessing? Yes. Why do we go to watch films? Who would go to watch a film for the first time if they knew exactly what the film would be? This is why why the trailers leave out all of the juicy bits. This is why whenever we go to watch a film with someone who's seen that movie previously, we ask them, please don't tell me how this ends. Please don't give away any details. Because we like the thrill of not knowing. We enjoy the play. We enjoy the play. I'm sure you've been to watch a movie with that person who every few moments turns to you and says, "Oh, here's what's going to happen next." Or they offer a commentary over the top of the film. When all you want to do is be present. You just want to watch the film without anyone commenting on it, giving away any plot lines. This is why in this grand play of your own life, this is why it is the way it is. Because the whole purpose, the sole purpose, is to simply be present. To be an attentive, attuned witness of your own life's unfolding. And it's one of the reasons why we don't really have answers to what this is, what's the purpose of this human life. Who am I? What am I? And of course, we can go so far. I can say, this is my name, this is where I live, this is what my job is, this is how much I earn, these are my likes, my dislikes, so on and so forth. At some point, that list of attributes comes to an end, and we're still left with that unanswered question of, yes, but what is the essence? How is it that I got here? the superficial, the surface qualities of who you appear to be are fairly easily answered. And there's a kind of a sense of comfort in that, a kind of a security. We tend to be very taken in by this, tend to be very taken in by this superficial layer of who you are. We don't really question, don't really dig in deeper. So it's a big challenge to get comfortable with not knowing. It's a big challenge to realize that we have not very many answers. Science can only explain 5% of what happens in the universe. 95% remains unknown, dark matter. And of course, science only probes, it doesn't prove. So if we're trying to be a good scientist to this experiment, this experience of our own human life, we need to get comfortable with not knowing and not attempting to prove anything. And that's the basics. And the next, to acquire beginner's mind, an open heart, fresh pair of eyes. Let me see this lovingly. Let me see this through the eyes of curiosity. What is this? Who am I? What am I? And at the very simplest, most basic, ordinary level, your experience itself. That's it. We can flourish it up with some nouns, some verbs. Human consciousness seems to have labels for labels for labels. We have labels for the minutest, tiniest cells in our body, and labels for the biggest galaxies. And yet, 95% of what this is unknown. We just don't know. So what helps you be okay with not knowing? Do that. What helps you accept? Do that. What helps you not resist, reject, cling to? Do that. What helps your heart feel soft? Do that. Or be that. Be that which helps your heart feel open and present. And that in my book is good enough as a manifesto for this human experience that you find yourself in. You came into this experience with nothing other than presence. And you'll exit this experience as this body equally with nothing. I'm afraid banking and saving is only relevant to this finite human experience that you find yourself in. I'm afraid you can't bank for whatever happens after you've taken your final breath. You'll leave as naked as the moment you entered. And that is a good thing. Because what you are, deep down beneath layers, is simply presence. You can't increase presence. You can't stop presence. You can't start presence. Presence just is. That's the very background. Sometimes people call it awareness or consciousness or being. And you already are that presence right now, irrespective of what other labels you can ascribe to yourself. You are already presence. And that means that on some level, you already know the outcome, or you're perpetually unfolding within the outcome. You already are it. You've already made it. I don't know if it was Jim Carrey who said, I really wish everybody could be rich and famous so that they could see that that's not the answer. The truth is, probably everything you've always thought, hoped for, and then got, and you thought maybe that would be the thing that will finally be the thing that will be the answer. And then you can start to live your life. Then you'll be satisfied. It's probably, in the end, been a bit of a big disappointment, really, ultimately. Because on this superficial level, there's no amount of letters you can put after your name, no amount of figures you can have in your bank, accolades, everything. Everything you can dream of. If you keep adding and adding and adding, there's always still something that feels incomplete. And yet it's here. It's naked. It's presence. You already are it. Is it not presence that births each and every moment? Now, and now, now, now. We don't need a magic formula. The magic is here now. Now, how is this? How is this that you're here? Ah, recognize that you already are it. You have arrived. In fact, you never left. You can't escape presence. You can't come out of it. Even when the body, on this finite plane, even when the body goes, presence carries on. You can't stop it. You can't start it. You can't improve it. Neither can you tarnish it. Just is. So, how's that experiment going? What data have you gathered? So let's leave it here, and the invitation is to come back to this character that you are, in this play that you find yourself in. Yes. Thank you so much for joining me.